Hey everyone, welcome back to the We Talk Sports podcast. This is the 4th of July weekend edition, and we are just going to go ahead and talk about all the sports and stuff that we've missed since then, or since our last podcast. So, Gerald, I know that you have a bit here, and I have one more piece of my dinner to finish. So if you would like to maintain controversy on the very first minute of this podcast, be my guest.
Might as well. Might as well. Okay, so any fan of the show understands my absolute disdain for Mexican soccer fans.
Soccer fans, again. Let me just start out with a disclaimer that anything that comes out of Gerald's mouth, that's not on me. No. Whatever Gerald says, that's him. You can know.
I also want to put this out there. Expired hot sauce just gets hotter.
No. So it does ferment.
Yeah, dude, This
I'm is down, also
I'm
by
down
the way,
astronomically right now.
Just in general, just for the viewership, this is also a collab with our future, soon-to-be We Talk Food podcast that we're going to do eventually. But, no. So, speaking of hot sauce and Mexicans, the governing body of soccer, which is no sainthood of men, has decided to fine the Mexican Soccer Federation, I believe it was $70 million, and bar their fans from home games in their stadiums because of a homophobic chant that they've had for the last, I believe, decade or so, been using every single time the opposing team kicks the ball into the field of play. They had been told multiple times to stop. It wasn't addressed. There were excuses made for it. Finally, the Federation decided, especially after some pretty, God, this is hilarious, some pretty egregious results.
Bro, there was one spot where I started pouring the hot sauce out on the bun, and it went too hard on, and I was like, oh, I'll just smear the dog around and get it all evened out. But I forgot to do that. And so I think I just got that one spot.
No, my God.
I am fighting demons right now, my friend. I'm shadowboxing legends. I'm seeing visions of Kobe right now.
Jesus.
I'll let you know. Keep going on.
Jesus. Where the fuck was that? Okay. So, again, Mexican soccer fans been barred from 2 upcoming home games in World Cup qualifying, which are some of the most important home games you can ever host. And that's only for 2 games that were being investigated. 4 more games are being investigated by the governing body to see if there was use of what they call discriminatory and homophobic language, which technically there was. And also the fan behavior got worse because they are known to throw beer bottles, cups, drinks, and everything onto the field and at players. So much so that at one of these recent games, they actually ended up hitting 2 players in the head with glass bottles, including one of their own, which is hilarious. But so we're expecting harder penalties and bigger fines to be coming down the pipes sometime very soon from the governing body, potentially meaning that this will cost not only Mexico points in their standings with the World Cup qualifying, Jesus, but also could potentially bar them from participating in the next World Cup. So, interesting.
You saw it was bad before that shit.
Listen, I said it initially. I am not alone in saying it. The entire rest of Central America and Latin America as a whole understands why this is a good decision, and they're happy about it because everyone hates, and I'm not exaggerating, except for you two and whoever doesn't share this policy, but the majority of Latin American soccer fans hate Mexican soccer fans with a passion. So, it's finally good to see them get what they had coming to them for a while. And, I think I kept it pretty civil, PJ. Any more thoughts?
No, you definitely said a lot worse. You definitely.
Anything more on the Home Depot cement drink mixing and drinking river crossers that are causing problems in stadiums?
Hey, yo, Gerald.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's the referee?
Holy shit!
Bring him in.
Oh, brother.
Gerald, you are.
I'll pass the baton off real quick.
I want to say, in addition to the beer throwing, why can't more fans be like the? Why can't more fans be like the Chicago Cubs fans?
God damn.
Or the Chicago fans who stacked up 120 feet of beer cups.
Oh yeah, didn't they cross like a balcony?
I feel like we're moving on from this too fast.
Would you rather like to dwell on it? I can keep going. Nah, let's focus on PJ.
I feel like Gerald as having originated from
Gerald, you got too comfortable being Hispanic. You got too comfortable.
All right, let's just move on.
I'm not going to say the thing that just popped into my head. Move on quickly.
So the NBA playoffs are coming to a close as we are about to see the finals. We saw the Nets get thoroughly bumped and bounced. The Clippers get bounced. And I now have a least favorite basketball player of all time in Patrick Beverley. Looks like, oh my goodness, looks like Captain Phillips out here hitting Devin Booker in the face after he's already injured, pushing people. Patrick Beverley, bro, you averaged like 9 on your career. Take a seat, my friend. This man needs to, stop being and jumping into Chris Paul and getting like an obvious foul call and then mimicking the flop and then getting teed up for it. Hate Patrick Beverley. Hate him.
So what you're saying is
That
you
video
hate him
was
even,
pretty funny,
you
though.
now hate him more than Al Horford?
Bro, I don't hate Al Horford. Al Horford is useless. Speaking of Al Horford, he's going to
Yeah, he
Boston.
got traded.
He's in Boston again. We get to see Big Al hanging out.
Holy shit.
I would have stopped watching basketball if he got traded to the Wizards. For real, for real.
You would have had to buy a jersey, bro. Just destiny at that point.
I
Yeah,
would have had to buy a jersey and then not watch a single basketball
We
game.
all owe this show one jersey at this point. Like
I
all
mean-
of us owe this show one jersey at this point that we don't want to buy.
I think I have to get a Bismack Biyombo or Al Horford jersey. I think Al Horford.
You get the Al Horford one. I'm gonna get the Orlando Magic City Orange Fever custom made
Busy Biyombo.
Bismack Biyombo jersey.
Big body busy. PJ, if you got to get one, you got to get a David Ortiz jersey.
Nah, bro. No shot. No shot. Why don't we do some
Jason
PJ,
Terry.
Speaking of New
Get a
York-
Jason Terry
I'll get a
jersey.
Scary Terry jersey, bro.
Okay, PJ, your thoughts on the NBA playoffs so far?
Well, the last podcast we had was
The Knicks are
first
in
round.
podcast.
Yeah, the Knicks are in. And as of that last podcast, the Knicks are now out.
the Knicks are not.
The Knicks are no longer in.
No.
Yep, they're teed off.
Well,
Oh no, we got the full cam going.
Yeah. So game one, I was like, all right, cool, whatever. I'm just happy it's the playoffs. We're here. Only lost. I mean, it was some horse that we lost, and I don't want to get on Julius Randle because it's the reason why we were there, but like that boy was
Shanghai Sharks.
ass. In the
Shanghai
playoffs.
Sharks,
That's
man.
the point. Game one was like, all right, whatever. Like I was just hyped watching the Knicks playoff game. I didn't really pay much attention. Game two, we won. Corey was there with me at Pub Dog, going crazy, bringing the house down. We won game two. I was like, oh, it's a wrap. It's game over. Still won in Atlanta. Still over in 6. And then Trae Young does what Trae Young does, and fucking Julius Randle didn't do what Julius Randle does. And then, look, it was just bad. Let's not talk about it. But we'll be back next year when we sign CP3 to a 1-year deal, get Kawhi Leonard going, trade for Dame. We got everybody coming. We're destination franchise. Wrap it up.
Do you remember when KD, Zion, and AD were all supposed to be on the Knicks?
Hey, Zion, that don't count, bro. That's the lottery.
All right. Regarding the West, however, not just talking about the Knicks, how do you feel about the Suns coming out and making their first finals since the 90s?
Bro, honestly,
in nearly 30 years.
I knew that if the Lakers got bounced early, like it was gonna be fucking. I didn't think Utah was gonna make it. It was definitely gonna be the Suns. Not surprised. I'm actually surprised the Clippers lasted as long as they did.
I agree.
Given what they did last year.
Yeah. We got pandemic P back, PG 13%. We got him being a scrub out on the court. Jared, I see you laughing over there. We got him being a scrub on the court. Bro, I'm telling you, next year's Shanghai Sharks starting roster is looking mean. We got Ben Simmons, Joe Harris. We got Julius Randle. We got Paul George. We got Rudy Gobert, who Ben Simmons, put up, 6, 4, and 8 points respectively in 3 different games. Is this your God?
Simmons
is this your
cheeks.
God?
That boy is actual butt cheeks.
Bro, here's my thing. Here's my thing for Benny Boy is I think he is very good at basketball, but the problem is that the Sixers, they're coaching, and it's been thoroughly the same way throughout the years, is they don't have the mentality of the act like you've been there before. It's the problem with the Knicks. It's the problem with, the Nets kind of had it, but there's just a coaching thing of act like you've been there before. Steve Nash hasn't really been there before. He's never been there.
Let it be known.
But Steve Nash has that mentality of he's a 2-time MVP. He's one of the greatest players to ever play, at least top 30. But you've got Steve Nash, and he knows what he's doing. You've got guys like Doc Rivers who played. He played, and he was fairly good during his playing days. But he can't lead that team to greatness because he hasn't been there before. Like, he hasn't been the guy to run things. And it's usually a former player.
Boston.
Normally, as a former player being a coach. Same thing in Boston. You had a coach there who ran a phenomenal system for them, but as soon as it got to the playoffs, they never made anything happen. And given the talent on their roster, they got my man Robert Williams, the Time Lord himself. We got him running down the 5 sometimes. We've got Jason. We got Jalen. You've got good pieces. Cardiac Kemba is now in cardiac arrest. That man can't play basketball to save his life anymore. A far cry from what he was at UConn and even in Charlotte. But the system doesn't work for them, and they don't have that mentality to approach it to win. The Lakers had that mentality, but they were marred by injuries, and they rested on their laurels to get there. The Clippers have the talent around them, but they don't have that mentality. The Suns have that mentality, and they have the talent. We're finally seeing a guy who, since his rookie season, I've been touting as one of the best upcoming big men in the league, DeAndre Ayton, playing incredibly transcendent basketball as a big. We've got Chris Paul playing his life out there. Devin Booker just doing Devin Booker things. You've even got guys just like Bridges who are coming in and role playing and playing really well. But it's all in the energy. It's all in the game plan. It's all in how you approach the game. The Nets found their demise at it is, we've got 3 really good players, but, we're going to have 2 of them injured. All right, now that levels the playing field of you and every other team in the league. You build a super team, you have to expect that to happen. Is the potential for 2 of your players. I thought I need to say that I'm wrong on this. I saw the Nets as a first-round bounce, and they were not a first-round bounce, but a second-round bounce. So, very close to calling it. I see the Suns taking this all the way. I don't see a way that the Hawks can come back. I don't see Trae Young as somebody who can lead. The Hawks at one point had the first player to ever, throughout most of the season, record a 50-50-100 season. 50% from shooting from the field, 50% from 3, and 100% from the line. Do you know who that is?
Red Velvet, bro.
Tony Snell.
No shit.
Yeah.
No.
but Tony Snell can't carry that team forever. He's got good role players like Trae Young and John Collins, but Tony Snell can only do so much. I take the Bucks in 6 tonight. I think that tomorrow night. I think that they're easily taking it.
Bro, they
And-
played better without Giannis in the last game. That shit is crazy.
I think it's going to be a rout. Chris Middleton has performed incredibly. You've got Rolo playing, or Brooks Lopez. Sorry, confused. You got Brooke Lopez playing great. You've got Drew Holiday, who's locking people down. And then you've got
Bobby Portis, bro.
You got Bobby Portis, the Julius Randle light, same exact player. But, you've got these white guys coming in, like Pat Connaughton, coming in and actually playing good basketball, And it's really nice to see a team that built themselves from the bench up instead of teams like the Nets who just tried, and like the Clippers who tried to just go all out starting five. Because that's not how basketball works. You get your starting guy injured, and you have to run through platoon, and you're going to lose every single game.
It's definitely Suns taking the chip, no matter who comes out of the East.
I was about to say, yeah. I saw something funny on Twitter, and it was like ESPN if it's Suns Bucks for the final, and it's like a bunch of the analysts on the screen with the Toon Squad and Space Jam playing in the corner, and then in the other corner, in a smaller corner, like a little inlet, is the actual
game.
Hey, let's just celebrate that it's not LeBron or the Warriors in the championship this year.
I believe it's the
we
first
get a lot
time.
Of fresh blood.
I think I was seeing something, and it's something in maybe 12 years or something that is the first time that LeBron, Curry, or Kobe haven't been in the finals. Dominated the last, decade and more.
Better for the league, they always say, but let's be honest, it is just a little less star-studded.
I disagree, because I made the point earlier, I guess late last year, that if LeBron repeated, that would have given good props to his legacy as being the greatest of all time. That potential debate may have been put to some kind of rest, or at least given him something up. Is he repeated? Right. He actually did it against all this league full of different star-studded talents. And I said that before James Harden went to the Nets. So you've got all these guys playing, but when you don't have LeBron, it looks like it's going to be the Suns and the Bucks. And it's really, really cool, because neither of these teams were any good 5 years ago, 6 years ago. They were dog water, like the bottom of the standings. And now you've got them going to the finals. So I think it's very exciting. And I think it's, as you said, Gerald, good for basketball, but not quite as headline heavy as if it were LeBron versus Kyrie in the finals.
Also, just a quick question. My hypothetical will forever be if Giannis finds any reason to stay in Milwaukee. They're doing successful right now. They might make it to the finals. They probably are. They're going to outplay Atlanta most likely.
The spread has Atlanta favored by 2.5 points. However, that is because Atlanta is playing at home, and I'm not sure about basketball betting, but in football, because you're at home, you get 3 points on the spread just for home field advantage. I'm not
let's
sure.
Call it. Let's say it's within the margin of error.
It may be a push, but
yeah,
it's Atlanta's still favored by 2.5, and they do have the home field advantage. We're not going to hear Trae Young's balding chants, so it's going to be really hard to get into his mind at the free throw line, I suppose.
The glorious legacy, but no, I'm trying to say let's say the Bucks win, they make it to the finals, and I think we're all in agreement the Suns would beat the Bucks in the finals.
I'm not 100% sure.
If Chris Paul stays healthy, that series is over. But Chris Paul has a tendency.
He is also aging and doesn't have the longevity. It's going to catch up to him eventually at some point during the season. And at this point, it's only the finals that are left. He's not going to be obviously having an MVP making game every single game during the finals. But all that aside, the point I'm trying to make is, has Milwaukee done enough to this point to convince Giannis to stay there, or is he still going to up and bounce?
I personally believe that they have done enough to keep Giannis around. They've built the team around him. They didn't take the approach of, let's say, LeBron on the Cavs originally on his rookie stint before he went to the Heat. The team didn't do anything to help him out. In Boston, we see Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but they're not bringing in a whole lot of talent to wrap it around. They have good players, but they're not focusing on one superstar because they have so many good players. I think Giannis stays, and I really do think if we get to a finals and it does happen to be the Suns Bucks, then I think the Bucks have a good chance of taking it. You think on a level here, right? You can have Drew Holiday lock down Chris Paul, because Chris Paul is an incredible ball handler who's just going to breeze past most people with his dribble moves. You put Drew on him, who is since he's been in the league, one of the best defensive talents in Drew Holiday. You can put Chris Middleton on Devin Booker, and he has some clamps on defense, although it's not Drew Holiday type levels. You put him on D-Book, and then you've got Giannis versus Ayton. And I think the thing that Giannis has on Ayton is Ayton may be bigger by an inch, I think. I think he might be 7 foot, so Giannis is 6'11", and he's got a bigger frame, but Giannis is a freak athlete. Neither of them can shoot outside the paint. Neither of them have a bag on them that they can, take in and reach into it and pull out some tricks and do like spin faders or, pull up. But it's going to be a dominant physical series, and I'm really excited for it should that happen. I think if the Hawks show up, then it may be Suns in 4. But if the Bucks show up, we're in for a good series, and I could really expect something really fun to happen, especially on the 1 and 2 matchups versus the 5 matchup. I think your small forward and your power forward, you're going to run Brook at the 5, but then on defense and on offense, you're going to have Giannis going up against Ayton, because who else is going to stop him?
Right.
Either one. I mean, which other player is going to stop Giannis and which other player is going to stop DeAndre Ayton? Because they're both phenoms, given Ayton is a little bit younger, but they're both phenomenal talents, great rim attacking ability, great defensive shot blocking ability. It's going to be a big game of where those bench players and your 3 and 4 slots can come out and fill out the game.
This has been one of the most exciting playoffs in recent memory, for sure. And that's besides the Knicks. You know how I feel about that. But just the whole playoffs as a whole, man. It's been really exciting to watch this year. The finals is going to be a hell of a show. If it's Suns, but I agree. If Atlanta shows up, it's not going to be as tight of a series, I don't think. But if it's Suns Bucks, man, it's going to go crazy.
I also want to put one thing out there that I think is incredible. I will be rooting for the Suns through it. I'm not much of a Chris Paul fan, but I respect his game, and he's one of the guys who has been consistently great since coming into the league and hasn't even smelled the championship. Now that he's got his first NBA finals berth, it's going to be very exciting. But I want to outline why the Suns might be so likable, and it's because they are the ultimate Cinderella story. Last year, get invited to the bubble as a cusp team, win out in the bubble, and don't get into the playoffs. This year, they come in 4-0. I think it was 4-2 in the other series. And then they performed incredibly, and they're making their way to the finals. Well, just coming off a season where they played their hearts out. They left it all on the court and then got snubbed. So I'm really excited to see.
Definitely all in on the Suns for the rest of this.
I would very much enjoy to see them take away a championship. But I would also like to see Giannis make one. But I think this might be Chris Paul's last ride to just even, I think he's already a Hall of Famer, but that would solidify it, is taking home a chip.
Yeah. Oh, he's for sure already a Hall of Famer. If this ring puts him in the best point guards
Correct. It wouldn't put him at 1, and it wouldn't put him at 2, but it might put him up there, like 3, 4, 5, something around there. Maybe Steve Nash, his coach, is a good comparison there, because you've got 1 and 2. However you want to put it, it's Steph and Magic. That's your 1 and 2, your best point guards of all time. And then you look at other people, and then you can start formulating your list. And, it's really interesting. It's going to be very cool to see how this final shakes out.
For sure.
Switching gears here, baseball is coming up on the All-Star break. We don't have the starters revealed for the teams, but we have the finalists revealed. I believe the Dodgers have 5 finalists, joined by a couple other teams there. but I want to take a little mid-season preview because we are 82 games in. So, or 80 games, 81 games, depending on the team. But the Dodgers are exactly halfway through our season with 81 games finished, and we're 50-31. What are your biggest takeaways from this season so far? What has surprised you? What has confirmed your belief prior to the season? And what do you think that we can look forward to later in the season? Gerald?
Okay. First things first, and it doesn't even have to do with the Orioles, but it does in general. I thought the Yankees would be much more consistent. Honest, I really did. I thought we were on our way to.
We all did.
I thought we were on our way to what we all still always dream of, which is the Yankees and Dodgers in a World Series. That is the dream of every single baseball fan, for the most part, in the world. Like, putting your biases aside, if it's not your team, who would you want to see in the World Series? Yankees, Dodgers. It's always been that.
I will give it for the matchup, and because we were so criminally robbed of that matchup, which should have been had. And I think that's the only reason, because a lot of people love to hate the Yankees and love to hate the Dodgers because they've been so perennially good in different times. So I would say that it might be incorrect to say that most fans would want it, but it would be very enjoyable, and I think everybody would like to watch it.
Right, exactly. The other thing, about the Orioles, again, going in general better than what I had expected. Still not as great as I had hoped, simply because just for things to be better is always good. But some good player performances, but also some really terrible ones. But in general, Cedric Mullins continues to be the most exciting part of our team. I will say this.
All-star. Has to be.
Well, he is an all-star. He is the second best center fielder in the game right now.
Mike Trout?
Mike Trout and who else? So there's an argument there. I'm sure someone can come up with something.
Right now, I would say over the course of being consistent, Cody Bellinger could be in that argument, but Cody has been hurt a lot this season.
Right.
So he's not even on all-star ballots. So
that's true.
It's a good point that you raise. Center fielder, there's a lot of really, really good guys out there in the league, but as of just this season, looking in, like, just tunnel visioning it, putting it in, a vacuum, Cedric Mullins is playing the second best baseball of any center fielder right now. I would agree. Right.
And also, there, like I said, some good standout performances, but I seem to get the inkling that Cedric Mullins is developing himself into the next main face of the Orioles franchise right now.
Could be the next Adam Jones.
I would say that's almost the perfect handoff, because he really is the engine of this team right now. He's the leader he's one of the leaders in the clubhouse, if not the main leader in the clubhouse. Yeah, and he is just he's driving Mancini. Motivation through. And then Trey Mancini, obviously. Trey Mancini's got that Cinderella story type of thing. Like, props to him. Fucking beat cancer, and now he's
back crushing balls.
He's in the Derby this year, right?
He is in the Derby. Shohei Ohtani is in the Derby this year as well.
Rest to my beating heart. That man, I'll get to Shohei when it's my turn to take on this.
Fair enough.
Yep. What? So you've got what's let you down. You've got what surprised you. Do you have anything that you want to look, or that you think that people should look out for in the rest of the season, or any predictions?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm not always good at predicting what happens in the future when it comes to with the MLB season, just because there's so many games involved. We had a hot streak where we had 6 or 7. How many no-hitters have we had?
7 if you include the 7-inning doubleheader game. That was a no-hitter. So there's been 5 individuals, 1 combined, thrown by the Giants. I don't know. It was against the Dodgers.
Right.
And then the one where somebody threw a no-hitter, it might have been like Madison Bumgarner or somebody, threw a no-hitter, but because it was a doubleheader game and was only 7 innings, it's not officially counted as a no-hitter.
Right. So I will say be on the lookout. We're overdue. By the way, things were going for another no-hitter or maybe even a perfect game that someone can toss. These pitchers seem to be getting better and better, but the whole thing with pitchers and foreign substance, the last 3 to 4 years of rule changes in the MLB overall, or enforcement strategies and all that, have all been absolute garbage, if we're being honest. This whole thing with the pitchers and foreign substances, that's not necessarily consistent and puts a lot of people at a disadvantage, a lot of pitchers at a disadvantage, not because they're using illegal substances, just because now they're being restricted even more and having their camera shoved in their face the whole time. And it makes it harder for you to be able to to throw your game if you're being scrutinized at every inch that you move. Also, doubleheaders need to be 9 innings. There was never a problem with it before. Sure, people got tired, but listen, there was never ever an issue with it before. I thought it was a pandemic type of, to keep limits of contact and everything, but there's no reason 7-inning doubleheaders should exist. They should be 9 innings, and stats should count no matter what. And lastly, we've been seeing a lot of, I think this is going to be a year of the pitchers. I think pitchers are going to continue to dominate the league, and they're going to continue to show how much better they can get. But also that feeds into whoever's an offensive powerhouse, whoever can throw the most dingers or hit the most dingers and do the most offensively for their team is going to make that much more of an impact, especially going into the postseason, which I think is going to be a mostly pitcher-dominated postseason.
Yeah, Trevor Bauer is the only pitcher to ever throw a home run. Took that ball, I remember, what was that, like 2 seasons ago? Just sails it over the center field wall, gets pissed, and just launches it. All right, PJ, your thoughts on the season so far?
Surprised, not surprised. Surprised at the Yankees being what they are right now. God, they suck. Not surprised that the foreign substances thing is a complete shit show, being handled like a complete circus, because you know who the MLB commissioner is. You know Rob Manfred can't handle it.
Man fraud.
I'm not surprised that they're hassling Max Scherzer, and I mean they're pulling guys out and checking them that like just gave up 4 runs. Like obviously he's not, whatever. Alarmed at how Garrett Cole's numbers have gone to shit ever since this whole foreign substances thing came out. A little concerned about that.
Just want to bring up, in case you're a viewer and you haven't, there's a specific interview where a reporter asks Garrett Cole a question about foreign substances, and he freezes up, has no idea how to answer it, and just like essentially he doesn't deny it, but he beats around the bush so much that it makes like he's doing something. So, it's amazing to me that the PR people didn't prep him for it. But also, if you haven't seen the interview, go watch it for yourself. Look up Garrett Cole, Sticky Substances interview, and you will find that first thing. And it is so cringy.
It's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah. Also, I forgot to mention this. Always try to do just a little bit of awareness. Prayers up for what's his name? The one pitcher who collided with his teammate and ended up falling and twisting on top of his own leg and ankle. Josh Naylor. Do not watch if you're more or less squeamish. Not a pretty picture to watch. I think he dislocated his ankle as well as tearing it because the thing pops out.
I saw that. Yep.
Yeah.
His ankle pops out under the weight of his own body, and he also tears and or strains multiple ligaments in his knee. He was down for a long time. Yeah, not good stuff. So prayers up for Josh Naylor. Hope he gets better. But being a pitcher, that's got to be. I mean, I know the arm is really, and the shoulders and elbows is really where everything really happens. But having a good set of legs under you is going to limit you in any sport, especially baseball and pitching from the mound.
Yep.
So prayers up for him, but hope he gets better.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
then on your thoughts of what had confirmed that you thought you were talking about the sticky substances, and you were alarmed at Garrett Cole's numbers.
Yeah, so I mean, Garrett Cole was off to an amazing start this year. Same thing with Chapman, honestly. I mean, I don't think Chapman's using sticky substances. I have my own grievances with Chapman, but we'll get there. Chapman's gone down the shitter recently. I mean, you saw that game against the A's. We got Ohtani out, 2 outs into the first inning, and then we give up a grand slam, and they win it in extras. But yeah, Garrett Cole, he was off to a phenomenal start this year. He's leading the league in a bunch of stats for the first couple months. Then as soon as ever since that interview, and they start cracking down on this sticky stuff, his numbers have gone. I think his ERA has gone up by 3.
Yeah, I think it's 3 or 3.5 or something like that now.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
I can grab some exact numbers because I know that they're going to be not very good for him.
DJ LeMahieu has been disappointing this year, and you know how much I love him. Hey, but you know what? Hopefully it's not one of those spurts.
Garrett Cole's rocking a 2.66 on him. Still leading the team in everything but holds and saves. But he's also flaunting a 0.9 whip, which is really, really, really good. So, he's doing his job pretty well. He's out there with 3.8 WAR right now, 11.5 K per 9. But this is in 16 starts.
That's the season averages.
Correct.
His last 4 or 5. Not remotely the same.
Yeah, I can pull up the exact on his last couple starts. His last starts have been a loss to Boston in a 5-inning, 8-hit, 6 runs, 3 dingers, 2 walks, 6 strikeout affair. A loss to Kansas City in a 7-inning, 3-hit, 2 earned runs, a home run, 3 walks, 6K affair. 2 wins by each other, 8 and 6 innings respectively. Only 2 runs given up each game, and both of them being home runs. And then in the second game against Toronto, giving up a walk and only getting 4 strikeouts. And then the last one, the 5th to most recent, is a loss against the Rays where he pitched 5 innings, gave up 5 earned runs, 5 hits on 1 home run, 2 walks, and 7 punch outs. So that is a very far cry from how good he was at the beginning of this season. He is, as you said, going down and down and downhill, especially in that game against the Angels that we saw.
Right. Yeah, it's not.
That was not Cole. That was more Chapman on that one.
Yeah, that was.
Yep. Yeah. But it's that was an explosive break apart. What was it, 9-run or 8-run deficit that they made up on you?
Yeah. Dude, it was bad. So I don't know what see, it's the opposite with all my other teams. All my other tems are trash.
And
so
then when they do well,
panic mode, it's yeah, whatever. But the Yankees are scaring me, man. We'll see what happens in the second half of the season. Maybe something changes. I think Boone, if this continues, Boone is gone. We're trading a lot of people. Look for DJ to be on the market.
We'll take him.
Yeah, Chapman. I mean, we're not going to trade Judge or anybody like that. But
Aaron Judge is also having a stellar season, one of his best since that 2017 campaign.
Right,
because he stayed healthy.
None of the baby bombers are gone. Maybe Gary, but Gary Sanchez has been since Garrett Cole has taken his downturn. Gary Sanchez has been on the way up.
Watch your words here. I will tolerate any and all Gary Sanchez slander.
Gary Sanchez has been having a little burst.
His cheeks.
A little burst. But here's the thing. He has these little bursts and then fizzles out to nothing. So hopefully this isn't one of those little, whatever. You enjoy it while you're in it, and, go from there. But I think Yankees are going to be – there's going to be a lot of changes to the Yankees by the time next season rolls around. There's going to be a lot of new faces, I think.
Going off of, I guess, the questions, I'm going to go ahead and put my stake in it here. One of the biggest I told you so's this season was going to be the Chicago White Sox. I was super high on them leaving last season. I was super high on them coming into this season, and now they've got 48 wins and 32 losses. They are scorching through the AL Central, doing really, really good things. We were fortunate enough earlier in the season to see the AL West form the ass hat in their standings with the Athletics, the Athletics, Mariners, Houston Astros, Angels, and Rangers all in that order. So their logo is spelled out ass hat. First time that's happened in a long time. But something that I also did see coming was Jake DeGrom pitching great, but I didn't see him pitching this transcendently. This has the potential to be the best season we've ever seen for a pitcher. The only competition I can think of is Bob Gibson's legendary season, or Pedro's 99 when their team really, really did terribly, but he did very well.
I saw a graphic the other day. I don't know if it still stands because it was like a couple of weeks ago, but he had more runs driven in than earned runs allowed, and this is through several starts.
Well, I mean, he's rocking like a point. I think in his last start he gave up a couple, but the last time I checked, he was rocking a .56 ERA, which is ridiculous. Another surprising thing to me, but I saw it close with the Dodgers and San Diego, but I did not see the Giants making this miracle growth spurt into this season. I mean, no matter how you cut it, the NL West is the best division in baseball right now. We have three teams that have 50 wins, and 49 wins, respectively, with the Giants, Dodgers, and Padres. The third place team is 2.5 games back, and the first place team is the most winning team in baseball. So do with that what you will. I am very impressed by as I said, the White Sox. I'm very impressed by Shohei Ohtani, who is a stud. You think, we've got a Japanese player coming in, and you think Ichiro, you think like a little guy. No, Shohei's jacked. He's enormous. And the way that he just effortlessly just yaks bombs, opposite side, pulls them straight dead center, doesn't matter. Ohtani is the man. Another surprise for me was actually the Blue Jays with Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette coming out and doing so damn well. So I'm really excited to see if Vlad Jr. does take his talents to the Derby. I don't know if he will. I don't know if he's opted out of it or anything. But another surprise in that division is the Red Sox. They came off of transcendently disappointing seasons and just sold Mookie Betts off because they didn't want to pay him. And we gladly took him. I mean, I'm wearing the jersey right now. Got my 50 on me. But we took him. But the Red Sox have somehow bounced back. They've got Benintendi. They got some good players who are just rocking on and playing. But nobody who's like star power, nobody who's name recognition aggressively good. Something that I think that we will very much look forward to, and things that have proved me wrong, I guess. I thought that the Yankees, as we all said, would do really, really well. It just seems as if the management is just not there. The consistency is not there. In the past, the Yankees have been marred by injuries to the baby boomers out there, the fucking sluggers, just demolishing home runs, but they've always been hurt in the last couple of seasons. Judge has never really had a consistent, healthy season since that 2018 bout. Young Carlos Stanton can't stay healthy. But this season, for the most part, the team is staying healthy, but just not getting anything done. It seems like it may be on the pitching side of things.
For sure.
But
it's definitely pitching, but
at the same time, it's also on the scoring side of it. I mean, here, let me look at something real quick. If I look at the overall, the runs against New York Yankees are in the top, I think they're 11th or 12th in runs against or runs allowed, right? So the 11th best. And then in runs scored, the Yankees are the 8th worst in runs scored. The Orioles have scored more runs this season than the Yankees.
Go Joe.
The Orioles, though, have allowed 110 more runs than the Yankees. So it seems like, you can attribute a bunch of these blown starts and stuff to pitching, but consistently it seems like the runs scored is the worst thing for New York. Also, we always saw the Mets having really terrible production. They're last place with almost 200 less runs scored than the number one team, the Astros. I can compare Jacob deGrom's season right now the most to any one season to Felix Hernandez Cy Young campaign, because Felix Hernandez had a team that could not win, didn't win, and he didn't collect wins. He just had a really, really good ERA, a good whip, great K numbers, very little walks, and he won. So I think something to look forward to is Jake deGrom very potentially posting a sub-1 ERA on the entire season. I mean, looking at just let me find this. Looking at ERA, right now he's posting a .95, and that comes after his last start, in which he allowed 3 earned runs and then one against Philly where he allowed 2. So in the last 2 games, he's allowed 5 runs. In the last 5 games, he's allowed 5 runs. He pitched 3 shutout affairs in a row. And just because of 2 things now, he's posting a .95. I think Jake deGrom is ridiculous. I see no way, barring injury, that he doesn't take home the Cy Young Award for the NL. And I think it'll just be really exciting to see how the season turns out. Another exciting thing will be the home run race, because we've got so many guys, Tatis, Ohtani, Vlad, guys are just raking. And on that same term of a three-dog race is the NL West. It'll be cool because there's a good chance that all 3 teams, all 3 of us, Dodgers, Padres, and Giants, all make it to the playoffs. There's a good chance that 2 of us make the wild card.
Y'all want to do mid-season playoff predictions?
I want to say it's too early to call, but I can very easily see the Red Sox taking it over. Well, not easily. I wouldn't be surprised if they lost it up. But when it comes to just looking at your divisional leaders, I would say that Boston being 10 games ahead really helps. The White Sox, obviously, in. And Houston, I think, is, as in as anybody else, again, being 9 or 10 games ahead. The NL is where it gets a little more tricky because hold on, let me check this. Sorry, Houston is only 1.5 games ahead. I was wrong. I just was reading the table the wrong way. They're 1.5 games ahead. The White Sox are 5 games ahead. I think the White Sox have a better chance of making it in as a divisional winner than Houston. But I wouldn't be surprised if Oakland springs ahead of Houston and takes them out. I don't see Cleveland jumping Chicago right now. In the National League, I can see the Mets doing it, even though they put up terrible production. But I will give it to the Braves here. They're only 2.5 games back, and they have good production. They have Acuna, who is having a phenomenal season. They just lost one of their pitchers to an injury, so he's going to be out for a while. In the Central, I think the Brewers will take this. I can't see a way that anybody else. Well, it's very close. Pittsburgh won't. The Cubs could get a wild card maybe, but with everything going on in the West, I don't see that.
That would take a collapse from one of the powerhouses in the West.
Correct. And in the West, it's a pick-up. But I ultimately think that all 3 teams will make it there. If any one team is going to fall apart, I think that it will be the Giants. Because they're just simply – well, no, actually, if I had to pick one team that's going to fall apart, it would be the Padres because they're not built on platoon. The Giants are built by every member themselves. Unless Crawford goes out with a season-ending injury, then I think that they're – or Gausman goes down, then I think that they're pretty good for now. But all holds barred or no holds barred, I think that all 3 people make it in. All holds barred, yeah, you can't attack. No holds barred. I think that every team of those 3 in the West will make it in, and I think down the home stretch, I think the Dodgers have the best chance of taking the division just because of the same NBA thing that I said before. Act like you've been there before, and the Dodgers have been there. We have won. I think it's 7 or 8 consecutive NL West titles.
What are the remnants of those Giants World Series teams are there? I know Buster Posey's still there, but
Buster Posey, Brandon Crawford, end of list.
That might be it, yeah. But even that, like, I mean, I guess you could make a case that the Giants, in a way, can act like they've been, sort of act like they've been there a little more. But let's be honest, the team that will absolutely shit the bag if they get into the playoffs is going to be the Padres. They don't even act like they've been to a regular baseball game.
Shit the bag. I like that one.
Shit the bag. It's fumble the bag and shit the bed. Yo, don't shit the bag, bro.
You know what's funny is that you two are slightly inebriated. I'm fully my senses is still messing things up.
I ain't inebriated.
Gerald, you gotta come to Ellicott City with us, man.
Hey, I did. By the way, this is completely unrelated, but like, I think I got accepted for a job in Elkridge as a banker.
Yo.
So
money in the bank.
Y'all needed me to put the money in the safe. I got you.
I'm gonna put my money in a grape. Yeah, I agree with you, Gerald, that if one team is going to make an incredible collapse in the playoffs out of those three, I think it would be the Padres. However, you got to think aside from, I mean, dude, Machado we saw him in the postseason with the Dodgers, and he was awful. He was terrible. He was choke city artist, a certified threat to society. But, the Dodgers have been there before, and not a lot of these Giants guys have. But I still think that they don't play expecting anything. They play with a chip on their shoulder, and the team, across the bay in San Diego, they play like they deserve everything, like they're the best, one of the best super teams in there, and they just deserve it all. But I think when you get to the postseason, that can very much take you down. That's what we saw happen to the Nets.
Right. Yeah.
Moving over to another topic here. How about that football team, Gerald?
Oh, brother.
I'm not as optimistic as I feel like I could be. Simply because by the way, the NFL came out with a $10 million fine and have removed, or not removed, but the result of that is not only the fine, but Dan Snyder's no longer on day-to-day operations for the team. However,
there could certainly be better reasons why Dan Snyder. What's going on with the football team is not anything to be happy or remotely celebrate. This is simply from Dan Snyder. For many reasons, needs to be unemployed.
Some level of consequence finally being reached.
Yeah,
I'll say. But again, removed from day-to-day operations for practices in the organization not conducive to I'll call it safe working environment. A very sticky situation. Dan Snyder out of day-to-day operations. But 2 days before this announcement from the NFL came through, Dan Snyder named his wife as the new Chief Operations Officer, or COO, of the entire team. So it's not like the Snyders are completely out of this. It's simply he just transferred the power over to someone else who he can probably tell what to do. And it's still not looking good. I still don't understand what Ron Rivera is doing with the starting quarterback thing. He should just
give it to Fitzmagic.
I'm saying that's the only logical answer, to give it to Fitzmagic. I want to make it a competition. No, do what's best for building the team up and actually teaching these young players how to play with at least some NFL experience over them before you throw someone new in there, get him crucified, and then have us trade away another good quarterback or ruin his career early on just because you didn't know how to deal with the situation in the preseason.
Y'all got to trade the Bills for Mr. Trubisky.
That's never going to happen.
Trubisky's coming for Josh Allen's job.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Nobody's coming for Josh Allen's job.
Y'all sleep on Trubisky.
Wait, Corey.
I'll stay asleep.
I forgot we made like a $200 bet before the Super Bowl, and I said, remember, it's a 10-year bet, so it's.
Oh, okay. I was like,
no.
Whoa.
You and me were saying,
is it time for me to cash out?
You don't believe that you're in disagreement with me. I believe by the end of 2030, or the season, 2030-2031 NFL season,
right?
By the end of that Patrick Mahomes won't have 3 Super Bowl rings or 3 more Super Bowl rings.
I think he absolutely won't.
I think he will. That was the bet.
Yeah,
It was a $200 bet.
He absolutely will not have three more Super Bowl rings. He won't have 4 on his finger by the time the decade is over.
But what if he does?
$200, I guess.
I mean, aside from the $200.
I don't know. What do you want?
I don't know. Do you think? Also, how do we think?
I'll buy a Geist jersey.
I'm not hearing as much hype as I thought I would, maybe because I haven't been paying attention to conventional sporting news for a long time now. But as much hype,
he's been watching Yella's marble races too much.
I've actually been watching too much soccer, but that's separate. That's separate.
Fake sport.
Whatever.
It's gonna get a couple.
No. But I'm not hearing. I don't know if you guys have heard anything, but I'm not
Nothing
hearing
could
as
get
much
more
hype
viewers
as I
upset than earlier in the show. Go ahead.
Fair.
Jeez. I'm not hearing as much hype as I thought I would, or as much as I think should be going on around the Jaguars right now.
That's because it's non-existent.
That's what I mean. I think it should exist because it's Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer. Oh no, the only attention they're getting is that Tim Tebow somehow is part of the team
Tebow's
again.
a tight end.
Wow.
Shit.
I'll tell you what. The reason that they're not getting any attention or hype is because what were they, 2-14? Something like that. 2-14.
Yeah, they were not good.
You're 2-14, drafting a rookie quarterback, right? And signing an old ass former quarterback to play tight end does not make you a contender.
I'm not saying it makes you a contender.
Hold on. Especially in that division. When you have to go against the Colts twice a year, when you have to go up against the Titans twice a year, you're not getting anything. I mean, you got to go up against the Texans, so I guess that might be some free wins. But you're still the Jacksonville Jaguars. If Trevor Lawrence loses one game this season, one game, which he will, and I project it will be in the very first week, then he will have lost his first in high school, college, or NFL. Trevor Lawrence has never lost a game playing in an official league before.
Okay. My thing is, when it was announced that Trevor Lawrence was going, or before Trevor Lawrence was drafted by the Jaguars, even though everybody knew that's where he was going to go, and also that they had signed Urban Meyer to be the head coach, we thought that would be a good, as much as you hate Urban Meyer with a burning passion for your personal reasons, which are valid, but also they did beat Penn State plenty of times.
Yeah, we also beat them.
I know.
In an embarrassing fashion.
Yes, that's true.
Got humiliated. Tyler Durbin comes in very reliable from inside 35 yards. The point is, you still have to give him the credit for being a reasonable coach and someone who knows how to work with a younger quarterback, especially someone like Trevor Lawrence, who has a lot of football intelligence. Now, I have never been a fan of any starter or anybody straight out of college shouldn't be a starter. This situation I thought was going to be different. I still think it can be different because of the nature of the coaching staff and who Urban Meyer is going to put in place and how that's going to work with someone like Trevor Lawrence. I don't think I've ever seen another closer to, he's not necessarily there, but closer to being NFL ready from a younger college quarterback, especially because he stayed the extra year. Aside from Trace McSorley, of course.
Right, precisely. But the point is, I still think the overall reviews should be, obviously, there's only so many ways you can go. If you get worse this season, then you should just quit as an organization and move to London. But I think there will be a significant improvement. Yes, you said it's a hard-ass division, especially with the Colts and the Titans both finally firing it up. Making the division really, really competitive. And also, let's not forget the
Texans are still a team.
The Texans are still a team, but barely. So we know that they're definitely not doing anything in this NFL season.
Well, they finished better than the Jaguars last year.
Listen, I think that there will be a significant improvement that should have been paid attention to for a while now. I still think Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer can do something very good at Jacksonville. I think Tim Tebow's going to be injured in Game 3 and not come back for the rest of the season.
Well, he's not going to start. I don't think. I don't think he'll get any reps.
It doesn't. That's true. What is the point of him being there? Honestly, I
PR.
like Tim Tebow as much as the next guy, but he doesn't need to be there.
PR, hype, jersey sales.
Like,
Not a Tim Tebow guy.
What does Urban Meyer have on him?
Well, so here's my thing. You brought up a point of, Urban Meyer has a good coaching record, in his different stints at Florida and then at Ohio State. But the issue that I run into is, yes, Trevor Lawrence is an incredible talent. How has Urban Meyer ever proven in developing young quarterback talent? What quarterback came from him under any of his coaching reigns that produced any level of NFL talent? Or who has he coached that thoroughly made it very good as a quarterback? Because Ohio State does not run a quarterback-friendly formation on offense. They don't produce quarterbacks. It's known. It's like Alabama. It's very D-heavy, very run-heavy, and it's system quarterbacks that you put in. He has no experience of a quarterback of this caliber, and I think that he will mismanage it. The over-under for wins right now, post the Jaguars at 6.5 on the year for over-under, and I think they might only get 6. I would take the under for this. I do not see that team performing. I don't see any way that they can get 7 wins. Going 7-12 is, or 7-10 is bad, but it's still like relatively not awful. I think this will be a very, very bad football team.
Okay, fair. I think that's a fair point. It is.
And also, another something to remember real quick. Trevor Lawrence was primordial talent coming out of Clemson, but he also had the Clemson offensive line and the Clemson weapons, and he was going up against not NFL caliber defensive lines and defenses.
He was going up against the ACC.
Correct. So I think he will have week 1 against the Texans. I think he will have his welcome to the league moment. I'm not sure that they'll get blown out because, again, it is the Texans. But if I take a look at it, they play the Texans in Houston, and then they play the Broncos, and then they play the Cardinals. And I think the Cardinals taking them in Jacksonville is going to be a stupendous blowout. And I think the rest of the season, looking at the teams they have to face, the only gimmies are that week 1. The only games that might be very easy. Texans week 1, playing the Falcons for that weekend after Thanksgiving, and playing the Texans in week 15 and the Jets in week 16. But aside from that, that's 4 games. The rest of their opponents, Colts twice, Broncos, Cardinals, Bengals, Titans, Dolphins, Seahawks, Bills, 49ers, Falcons, Rams, Titans, again, Jets, and Patriots to cap off their season. I don't see this team taking 7 wins. Not one bit. So I think, I do agree that they're underhyped, but I think it's for good reason. And it's because we have seen nothing to show us that they're going to be a wild card.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Meanwhile, the New York Football Giants have an over-under win of 7.
I think we did our whole thing, and I had them at 9. Maybe.
We went.
There's nothing.
We went through the schedules for each of our preferred teams.
The football team has an over-under of 8. And that is the highest in the division.
I'm not.
That's not a testament to how good the team is.
Sorry. I'm wrong. The Cowboys are at a 9.5 over-under for wins.
The Cowboys are always hyped up as the fucking Super Bowl team in the NFC every year.
Well, they got Dak back.
What has he done?
What did they do when they had Dak?
What have they done with him since they've had him? How many years have they had him? How many times have they?
You just hand it to Zeke. You just hand it to Zeke.
Get
the ball.
Basically,
feed
honestly,
Zeke.
That's what it is. It's Dak was a good replacement for Tony Romo, but he's basically doing what Tony Romo did now.
Nah, do not slander Tony Romo on here. That man had it bad. That man had no line No wonder he was getting his neck snapped in half every game that he played. I do not want to hear Tony Romo slander on this page.
You said Tony Romo had this Cowboys offensive line. It's a rat? Or the one from a couple years ago?
It's a wrap.
Okay, fair. Point is, I think
Not sold.
Listen, I'm not sold on a Washington football team.
I'm sold on the Colts
Did-
having
you know,
over-under
the
of
most
10 wins.
Fair enough. The most exciting thing going on with
We're winning out 17
with
and
the
0.
football team
Calling
this
it
year,
now.
you know what it is?
What?
The most exciting thing that's happened recently with the Washington football team?
The Geiss's lights.
No. the fucking field is being redone. That's as good as it gets.
Oh, you want to hear some fucked up shit? So Madden this year is deciding to do like home field advantage perks. So like if you're playing at a certain like if you play a mile high, like your stamina goes down a little bit or whatever, like for the opposing team, like stuff like that. You know what it is for the Giants and Jets?
You have an increased chance to win.
No, it's like an increased like injury risk or something. The other team because MetLife's
Bro,
field
that's
is
so dirty.
terrible.
Yeah, that is so dirty, dude. That's despicable.
What is
Yeah,
the
dude.
one for
MetLife is absolutely the one that like injures the most players, and it's by a
Yeah.
long shot.
Yeah,
Their
for
turf
real.
is just so terrible.
listen, they have the worst turf, I think, in the league, but who has the worst grass or hybrid playing surface? Because it's between
Oco.
FedEx
Oh,
Field.
they don't play at Oco anymore.
I mean, FedEx Field has been awful for years. They're finally replacing it. I don't know how good it's going to be, but they're finally replacing it with grass again, but we'll see how well it goes. San Francisco has some dog shit of a field.
Yes,
They've injured. Didn't they injure 4 of their starters in one
in
game?
one game. Yep.
And then also, who else has terrible field conditions? Oh, Miami. But that's
I mean,
just because it rains there all the time, and they play college there.
Well, the best one is the Cardinals because it's consistently kept up and takes care of it.
And it rolls out of the stadium. Las Vegas has the same advantage. Obviously, we haven't seen much being played there, but Las Vegas has a nice. By the way, when are they going to give Las Vegas
another a Super Bowl? I don't know.
They have the hotel.
Another one of
they
the
have
worst
the perfect
ones.
stadium.
Another one of the worst ones is Houston because it's built on removable field.
Yeah, it's not. That one's not good.
Yeah, but as you were saying with Vegas, giving them a Super Bowl to host would be very good. It would increase a lot of revenue for the city. They already have enough hotel and transit in there because that was our issue when we were talking about different places for the Olympics or World Cup in America is just the amount of transit. Like it would be so hard to put one in the DMV because of transit.
Throwback to our stadium episode where I just go absolutely ham on that presentation, and we listen. All of us trounced Brown Stadium in Rhode
Bro, we
Island.
need to do another episode like that.
Brown.
That shit was
Bro, you can see that stadium from your house, bro. Brown, fake Ivy League Brown, bro. You look out your back door and you're like, bro, that's a football game, and you get hit in the head by a punt that goes like a touchback. Let your dog out, and then he just runs on the field.
No,
That
but
reminds me of the St. Louis Olympics,
yeah,
where they had that great marathon in 100-degree weather.
Remember the winner? Remember I told you the winner that got caught? Apparently he was so exhausted he almost collapsed, and he got picked up by his coach in a car and got driven to the finish line.
He got driven like 4 miles out, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." Meanwhile, some random dude like swam here from Cuba or the Dominican Republic or something, and competed, and he'd never ran a marathon before, and so he had long pants on, like a jacket, all this, and he starts running, and people are like, "Yo, you need to cut those into shorts." That is a tall tale of that marathon. The worst Olympic event of all time. I gotta tell you.
The St. Louis Marathon of 1904.
And there was only one stop for water on the entire course, and it was a well that was filled with bacteria water.
Wonderful stuff, USA. Really setting it forward there.
Yes, the cholera well.
The cholera well. Yo, me and the boys drinking from the cholera well. Right? Who coming around?
Somewhat
HMU for Addy.
doing an absolutely terrible transition to the Olympics really quick. We are having an Olympics this year without foreign fans, and only 10,000 people are allowed in the main stadium at any one time. And
Isn't it Tokyo?
yeah, it's in Tokyo, and it's going to be difficult. And also, apparently, this is some really dumb stuff. You know how the Olympic Village is. Apparently, half the time it turns into an absolute fuckfest.
A lot of condoms being given out.
Apparently, they're expecting the players and the athletes to take the condoms back with them.
What do you mean take them back with them?
They want them to take them back in their luggage.
Like
I'm not
bring them
making
back
that up.
to the United States or something?
To wherever you're from. Let the kids. I will address that in a second, PJ.
Bro, in addition to the Olympics, another not so fun thing, Ryan Lochte has swam his final Olympic qualifier and will not be in the Olympics. So hats off to Ryan Lochte for being what people called, back at the time, the next Michael Phelps, who instead lied about a police report and got properly arrested in Rio.
I don't know. I generally don't think he believed that Brazilians had security cameras at their gas stations.
What a guy.
Shout out
I
Ryan
completely forgot that happened until just now. What the fuck was that?
Hey, I think Daniel, also, let's be honest, remember, Michael Phelps also got caught with a crack pipe one time, remember?
No, it wasn't a crack pipe. He was smoking marijuana in a dorm room.
Oh, who was the one that got? Oh, that was the mayor of Toronto that got caught with a crack pipe.
Or the mayor of BC.
Let's talk about the mayor of Toronto for a second. Do y'all remember that? That was the most outlandish shit I've ever seen.
That reminds me so much of Marion Barry. Marion Barry just being like, yeah, I smoke crack. What about it?
Dude, what was his name?
Marion Barry, hold on, gets arrested or caught smoking crack and then gets voted back into office.
PJ, it's Rob Ford.
Rob Ford. Oh my God. What did he say? He had some like stupid quotes. They were just the most ridiculous thing.
The absolute unit.
Big Chungus.
Yes, I've smoked crack cocaine. Have I tried it? Probably in one of my drunken stupors.
You can see the videos. Dude, I'm going to be honest. I've had a lot of moments where I do like some questionable things while under the influence, but never once have I considered smoking crack.
What I compare bike lanes to is swimming with the sharks. Sooner or later, you're going to get bitten. Roads are built for buses, cars, and trucks, not for people on bikes. Actually,
I mean, he's right with that one.
I agree with that, but also it just makes it more hilarious. I'm happily married. I got more than enough to eat at home. Really, Rob? What gave it away? I can assure people.
Hopefully, it won't happen again.
Dude, holy shit.
The absolute legend of Rob Ford.
Impromptu politics podcast happening right now.
Jesus Christ. Okay, point is, all right, so, PJ, I'm sure what you're referencing is I forgot the athlete's name, Sha'Carri Connor, I think it was her name. She's someone who qualified for the Olympics in multiple events. But they're testing samples right now.
Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yeah, Sha'Carri Richardson. Did great, qualified for the Olympics, won her heat and everything. But she got tested positive for banned substance THC, which is cannabis, which is, it is what it is, marijuana. I mean, it's becoming more and more legal in multiple states, probably even in Oregon, where they were holding the Olympic trials, and the U.S. Olympic office is in Colorado as well as their training facility, where it's also legal. All this being said, somehow it still isn't part of it isn't an allowed substance for athletes in these competitions and in the Olympics itself. whether that needs to be changed or not is a discussion that every single one of these overhead organizations needs to have, considering it's changing stigmas and everything that's going on around it with this substance itself. But
What's stigma?
at this point, stigma, but like that it's still illegal in most situations.
Damn, he didn't
Is
fall
what I
for
meant.
it.
Gerald, have you ever heard of small bunnies?
You and the Imagine Dragons thing.
Gerald,
live on
do
in
you know
infamy.
do you know about slalom?
Winter Olympics, my guy. Anyway,
Damn. You like tapes and CDs?
the point is,
You like when I tapes my something to your forehead so you can see these nuts? Got him.
the point is, Sha'Carri Richardson tested positive for THC. Apparently, she admitted to at the time right before she was about to run her trials. I don't even want to know. Before she was about to run her trials, and it's a banned substance by the Olympics, and they're considering not letting her run, even though she qualified to run for the event, simply because this was found in her system.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of a like it is. I get the point that everyone's making, and even though I agree for the most part that if it's not illegal in most places, then they should change the policies and not have it be anything, because it's not an enhancement. It isn't an enhancement for
It's
any.
actually something that'll slow you down, I think.
It's a depressant.
Being honest.
But there's no enhancement for sport. There might be a question of recovery, but that's not the reason they have it banned. They just have it banned because it's been an illegal substance in a lot of the world for a long time. But the point is that technically the organizations had not changed the rules. Therefore, this rule still stood at this moment, and it's still in doubt whether she'll be allowed to run or this race or
no, they
try
officially
this event.
disqualified her from it. She has like a month-long suspension or something.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and considering the Olympics start on the 27th of July, or 23rd or 27th, somewhere around there, it will hold her back a lot. So it won't allow her to run. So it will be a harsh punishment that should be looked into for changing of policies in the future. But unfortunately, I don't see that changing in this particular situation.
Well, the issue I have
go
with
ahead.
this specifically is that I understand that in a lot of the world, THC and marijuana are still illegal. So that's why it's like an Olympic Committee thing that they have to decide, and not just a United States Athletic Olympic Committee thing that they can just, overrule. But what gets me upset is, as you said, like, this is not an enhancer. This is not anything that sets you forward. There's not anything that even I don't think, well, it doesn't help with muscle recovery. It doesn't do any of that. It might help ease pain afterwards, but that doesn't do anything for exercising or getting stronger.
Right.
Or else weightlifters would be doing that. So,
Right.
You take all these things into consideration, and I think it is utterly ridiculous that she is disqualified for it. However, I understand why. It seems like something that needs to be changed, but I do see the reasoning why. I mean, it is a banned substance, and I do believe that it needs to be changed. However, there are so many countries in which its use is still punishable by long jail time.
Yeah.
And, convincing all those countries that this should just be legalized across the board for the Olympics could have further reaching consequences.
Yeah, so that's the situation on the track and field spectrum of the Olympics. Everyone else seems to be getting ready for the Olympics. It's gearing up. It's at the end of the month. I will definitely be watching a lot of coverage. By the way, Corey, within the 2 weeks, the amount of coverage, the hours of coverage that NBC is going to be providing through all their platforms and networks, including Peacock, as well as NBC, NBCSN, in Spanish, Telemundo, if you want. But all
Telemundo
that,
gang.
all that is going to be 7,000 hours of coverage over the 2 weeks, including extras and exclusive interviews and all that. Yeah, I know. So they're and
I know
everything.
I'm doing for the next year.
Everything is going to be allowed to be broadcast and or watched live, either through Peacock or anything else. Because of the time difference, they've almost always delayed everything. But they've been able to provide live coverage for every single event this year, so that'll be good. You can watch it when it's best convenient. For some people, that means watching things in the morning before going to work.
We still got Bob Costas on it.
Bob Costas doesn't do that
Dude,
because
remember last Olympics he had pink eye?
That was 2014.
Yeah,
he didn't do. He left before 2018 Olympics because NBC had decided to let him go because of his comments against the NFL, if you remember. So a big shame not to have Bob Costas there. He's one of my favorite sports journalists.
Who's going to be doing it?
Mike Tirico.
Oh, dude, the Italian stallion.
Mike Tirico.
He says he's not black; that he's Italian.
Mike Tirico, Al Davis. Who else is there? Dan Patrick, I think, is going to be part of the coverage.
Announcers that do it, like Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth.
They have specialists for every single sport. Obviously, track and field, soccer.
Yeah, but for the main coverage of just
main coverage and analyst is going to be Mike Tirico, Dan Patrick, and whoever they can get other people to cooperate with them. Probably some other regular news journalists because they always have to have that angle there. And I think it should be all right, but I do miss Bob Costas. I still think he could have done a couple more Olympics, and it would have been great, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I do want to bring your attention, however, to the Team USA basketball team. All right, the roster. I want you to get your reactions.
Somebody asked Kevin Durant why Dylan Brooks would be left off the Team USA team, and he goes, "You mean that guy from Canada?"
Holy shit!
Just thought that was something funny that I saw regarding Olympic basketball.
Oh man. We still don't know every team that's in the tournament. We have a good majority of them. 4 of them are still to be determined. But this is the roster for Team USA. Is Bam Adebayo, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Jeremy Grant, Draymond Green, Drew Holiday, Zach LaVine.
Levine.
Is it Levine or Levine?
It's Levine.
Zach LaVine, Damian Lillard, Kevin Love, Chris Middleton, and Jason Tatum.
Dang, no Julius Randle.
Hey, but Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickly got invited to the tryouts. So what are you going to do?
Yo, is RJ Barrett playing for Team Canada?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Oddly enough, I mean,
Barrett.
You know how every 4 years is Team USA basketball time. It's always Dream Team time. But this year, I'm excited to watch RJ play in Canada. I'm excited. What I'm really excited for is to watch out of Argentina, Luca Vildoza, whoever the hell we signed, the point guard we signed.
On the overseas contract?
Yeah, he couldn't join our roster in time for the playoffs because of like COVID protocols.
Okay,
I'm excited to watch him play, see what he looks like. Because obviously, I've never heard of him before. We signed him, and he's gonna be with us next year. So.
All right, so here's the
got Serbia in there.
They're fighting for a spot. Here's the Team Canada roster real quick. It's Nickeil Alexander-Walker, RJ Barrett,
Dylan Brooks,
Trey Bell Haynes, who plays for a team in Germany, Laguns Dort.
Lou Dort. Lou Dort. Yeah.
I'm buying this jersey. That's whose jersey I'm buying.
A Lou Dort jersey. We're going to pull it with a Bismack Biyombo, a Lou Dort, and an Al Horford jersey.
Jesus
Pull
Christ.
it to the club, like. Who else on the roster?
Corey Joseph.
Corey Joe.
Michael Mulder.
No shot, bro. What? They have a picture of Lou Dort. His head photoshopped on top of a Fortnite dude. and the shirt says Dark Knight. I'm not buying a jersey. I'm buying that.
Fortnite. Yo.
Jesus. Where was I? Andrew Wiggins.
Yo, the Black Mamba, the Canadian Mamba, or no, sorry, that was RJ's nickname, wasn't it? The Maple Mamba.
Yeah.
Goat.
Anthony Bennett.
No, sorry. Andrew Wiggins was the Maple Mamba, and RJ Barrett is Maple Jordan.
Okay, Maple
Jordan.
I know you didn't just say Anthony Bennett's going to be playing.
Wait, Anthony Bennett?
Oh my!
Anthony Bennett. He's on Team Canada.
The former #1 top pick, Anthony Bennett.
No.
Probably the second best Tony Bennett at basketball.
And Aaron Dornkamp, Andrew Nicholson, Dwight Powell, and Trey Lyles.
Powell. Yo, Team Canada better be busting with Lee Dort.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see. Usually there's a lot of hype around Team USA, obviously Dream Team and all that, and Best in League. I don't believe that's the case anymore. I believe it's very possible for this team to not win the gold medal.
Watch out for Australia, bro. They got Benjamin Button Simmons.
This is going to be the transition. It's just weird, man. It's just a transition to the new generation of Team USA. Because we grew up LeBron, Kobe, fucking all that.
The Redeem team. If you look at Australia, they got Joe Ingles and Ben Simmons. How do you lose with that? Mainly because you got Ben Simmons, but
just hope it don't come down to free throws.
Yeah,
25%. If Giannis decided to play for Greece. I know he can't because right now physically he's not going to be able to. But
Devin Booker's playing for USA.
Okay, that's true. I don't know. Hold on, because Greece is in the tournament right now. Would Greece call up? They would, but
they got all four on Antetokounmpos. Thanasis, Giannis, Alex, and the other one, Costas. Yeah, bro, you can almost have a starting five just out of alphabet letters.
Jeez. Okay. Let me see. The Greece.
Yo, is Blicky Rubio still playing for Spain? Gotta call him that. Blicky Rubio, because he pull up with the shot.
Okay. We have in Greece Giannoulis, Larenzakis, Konstantinos, Mitoglu.
See if there's any names that we know.
I'm looking. Hold on. I need to go to another fucking website because I need to. Here, let me see here.
You know what they should here? I just want to put this out there. In addition to the home run derby, they should have a pitching derby where you just get out there and you try to throw the ball in the strike zone just as fast as possible.
Fair. In Korea they have a bunting derby.
Yeah, terrible. The problem with the pitching derby is that it's a perfect way to tear your UCL. Oh, I also wanted to bring up earlier on the sticky stuff debate. There's been a lot of fallout from different pitchers talking about, how bad of an idea that they introduced it right in the middle of the season. Bauer has been a consistent guy who wanted this to all happen, but is saying that this is being introduced in all the wrong ways. But Tyler Glasnow, who was third in chances for AL Cy Young, partially tore his UCL in his elbow on his first start against the Nationals, trying to throw without sticky stuff. And he said that it made him have to change how his fingers worked on his curve. And when he threw his fastball, he had to tuck it all the way back into his hand. And the next day when he woke up, he felt sore in places he didn't know. So, the sticky stuff, I'm 100% with Bauer and what he says about this. And you need to uniformly rule out what's legal and what's not. Spider tack, make that illegal. Any of this lab-made stuff, keep that illegal. But if you have sweat and rosin or sunscreen and rosin, that makes it so tacky enough just so that you can get a grip. A lot of pitchers aren't using it for spin rate. They're just using it to get a grip. There are some guys like Garrett Cole who do definitely use it for their spin rate and for game-enhancing effects. But guys like Kershaw, like DeGrom, like Bauer don't use it for that. They use it just for, and like Glass now, they don't use it so they can do that. They use it just so that they can grip the ball and letting go of the curve. It's not packed in and you're not putting so much pressure on your arm. So I do think that without any of the sticky substances, we will see an increase in injuries. And we've already seen some of the worst of them happen to some of these good players.
Also, Corey, I just wanted to mention this will interest also you more so than PJ, I think. But this year, baseball is making its Olympic return.
Yep. I'm very excited. We're all going to get worked by the Dominican Republic players.
Here's the thing: if the MLB did what most other sports leagues in the world for all these other sports in the Olympics did and took a break, maybe not, but
correct. Yep,
they're not willing to do that.
I mean, you got to think how deadly though. Like the Dominican Republic team would be fierce, but I mean, a Team USA, dude, just in your outfield, you can have Mookie Betts, Cody Bellinger, Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, all these guys there. I mean, pitching, you can have Kirsch, you can have DeGrom, you can have Garrett Cole.
You know what I would do if it were up to
Verlander,
me, and there was cooperation from the MLB. If it were up to me, I would literally say whoever wins, whichever side wins the All-Star game, gets to represent the U.S. at the Olympics.
Well, but the problem is that
I know
a lot of those players aren't. Like, if the AL wins, then you can't bring Ohtani.
I mean, yeah, okay. So, like, right.
Or you can't bring Jose Abreu.
My whole point is the last World Baseball Classic that we had.
We love the WBC.
It's great. The U.S. won, but that's because they had actual MLB players on there. They don't have a single MLB player. They have a bunch of AAA and AA players right now.
Well, I was going to say for playing in the Olympics, even just AAA players, bro, send Chris Davis. Send him. Ain't nobody want him. Gary Sanchez, you're hitting pretty well. Go to the Olympics. You're probably not from here, but just go.
Team Dominican Republic for this year.
Yeah, the DR is going to be nasty.
Coaches,
how many former MLB players are we going to see there?
Let me see. Hold on. Dario Alvarez, Jairo Asensio, Osvaldo Bito, Lisaberto Bonilla.
That's my favorite player now, Bito.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool name.
Luis Felipe Castillo, Marcos Diplan, Reinaldo Espinal, Junior Garcia, Lourdes Gomez, Red James Lees, John Marinia. I don't know his name. Roldani Baldwin, Charlie Valerio, Juan Francisco, Diego Goris, Dawel Lugo, Gustavo Nunez, Jeffrey Perez, Ramon Torres, Jason Asensio, Emilio Bonifacio, Melky Cabrera.
Yep, that's what I was looking for.
Melky Cabrera, Johan Mieses, and Julio Y. Rodriguez. Julio! And their manager is Hector Borg. And their coaches are Jose Cano, Wilton Chavez, Manny Garcia, Gilbert Gomez, Anderson Hernandez, and Rafael Ozuna.
My God, Gilbert. But I'm, with the Olympics coming up, it's always my favorite time every 4 years to sit back and watch sports that I don't really care about just because of American nationalism.
That's fair.
Sit back and get happy that we're the best at everything. The Winter Olympics is a different question, though. We still win, but bro, what is it? Norway or Sweden always come in and make third or second.
Norway. No, we haven't topped an Olympic winter medal count in a lot.
Hasn't Norway taken a lot of them?
Norway's the all-time leader. Canada's second. USA is third. Russia's fourth.
Bro, they're just cheating.
Well, hold on. Russia is fourth. However, Russia put together all those four. They don't have the USSR medals, right?
No.
Yeah. So Russia put that all together just in the last 40 years or 30 years.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous to me.
Well, they were doping too.
Yes.
Um,
And now
here's the thing.
nobody. Wait, Russia can't compete in this Olympics either, can they? Or are they finally back?
Oh, I forgot about the.
Yep.
I forgot. I think they're still out.
Yeah, you have to compete under what is it? The independent athletes representing Russia. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, OAR, Olympic athletes from Russia.
Yep. Yeah,
They did.
that's so funny.
Here's a problem. Uh, they did not ban Russia or Russians. They banned the name Russia from the Olympics for 4 years, which is kind of right. Like, it says the
Russia's
International
stuck
Olympic
into 'em.
Committee announced on Friday that since Russia's name is banned for the next 2 Olympic Games, the country's athletes will be known as ROC. An acronym stands for Russian Olympic Committee.
But
Rock
that's got
Nation.
Russia in it.
Rock Nation.
I don't know, man.
Yo,
All right, it's stupid.
What
It
goes
really is
on
stupid.
with these?
Yo, who's the Olympic chairman these days? Is it still Dick Pound?
No, he was the former leader and the founder of the World Anti-Doping Agency, Dick Pound. What a name!
Shout out.
What a king.
Yeah, Dick Pound was in the news about this time last year when we were starting the podcast talking about Dick Pound.
Right, exactly. No, the leader.
Shout out.
Shout out, Dick Pound.
I'm changing my name.
Listen. I always highly recommend if you want to see how actually just useless doping is, how prevalent it is, and how useless testing is.
We have the same idea. Rick Dollar. Ricky, good old Ricky Kilogram at it again.
Jesus.
Like Johnny Bag of Donuts.
Yeah, so like I said, Russia and Russians aren't banned. The name Russia is banned, which is
I say they should just ban all the Russians for real.
fair enough. But here's the thing, all right?
Better dead than red, brother.
I did find a few people who are on Team Puerto Rico. Jesus. On Team Puerto Rico that have played in the major leagues, who are going to be in the Olympics for Puerto Rico. And it's Jason Garcia, who is a pitcher who actually plays for the Orioles. Let me see who else. Brian Escanio from the Diamondbacks. Christian Flecha from the Royals, as well as Michael Arroyo from the Royals.
Yeah, Michael Arroyo. He played for a while.
Yeah. Noel Cuevas from the Rockies. And that's about it. A bunch of other AAA and AA. I don't see my man. This is because Nicaragua didn't qualify. They missed out by a little bit, but no Joey Lasagna in the Olympics.
You know the problem that I pointed out the last time I saw PJ, I pointed this out. Bro, his name ain't Joey. It's definitely Jonathan. But
we're just too committed.
We've started this narrative that it's Joey Lasagna instead of Johnny Lasagna, which is easily as cool, but we're too deep
Johnny
in it.
Lasagna just doesn't have the same.
Johnny Lasagna sounds like an Italian man.
Exactly.
Hey, good old Joey Bag of Donuts and Johnny Lasagna. Where's the gabagool?
Speaking of which, we all watched the Sopranos movie.
Newark. The Many States of Newark trailer?
Yeah. Squad trip to see the.
Ooh.
Yeah, I saw that. I remember. Yeah.
Gerald, you got to
we
get
gotta
up on
watch
all
out.
the seasons of Sopranos, bro.
I have HBO Max now, so.
Watch it all. Dude, his son is magnificent as him.
Yeah.
Because it is
Will
the
he
guy
do-
who plays
Will he do a
Tarantino.
better
or
job?
not
Will he
Tarantino.
do here real quick? Will he do a better job than Ice Cube's son playing Ice Cube in Straight Outta Compton?
Yes, considering that The Sopranos is maybe the best show of all time. And Damn Vinny.
We're going with Sopranos names now. Just roll with it.
I still can't believe Richard Quinn and William.
I mean, well, Gandolfini's son is playing as him younger, which is cool.
Right.
But, the problem with The Sopranos is I keep watching it, and then I stop watching it because I'm done, and then I go back. And, as a wise man once said, just as I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. Goat stuff. All right, well, I don't know if we have anything else to talk about for sports.
I was just going to say
on the wire here.
Keep an eye out for the Olympics. I would recommend soccer for you guys, but you're never going to watch it, so I'm going to save my breath on that. Also, this is just really quick. Corey, Messi's contract ran out. He is officially a free agent.
Going to PSG.
I don't think so.
He's going to PSG. I don't care.
He's going to end up in Miami at some point in the MLS. I'm not lying.
My fate, hold on. I want to put this in here as a very fun soccer story. So here is my favorite footballer of all time, the Swedish legend, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. When he came to the LA Galaxy to play for them, LeBron sent him a jersey of him and said, like, welcome to LA. Normally an athlete would take another one's jersey and hang it up or something like that. Do you know what Zlatan did? He signed LeBron's jersey and mailed it back to him.
Bro.
That is the most alpha move ever by an athlete. Oh, you're LeBron? Cool, I'm Zlatan. And then he put on a tweet. It was like, now LA has a god and a king. This man is unstoppable, ferocious.
And then he went back to AC Milan 2 years later. But
yeah. It's all right.
He's been a journeyman for the last
15 years.
Jeez, yeah, for real. He was at Barcelona.
Yeah, he was at Barca.
Juve.
Yeah,
Man City, PSG.
The best thing about Zlatan is coming into the LA Galaxy for his very first game and nails a 40-yarder straight into the upper 90 of the goal.
Right.
He's like, yeah, I'm not going to pass it to any of y'all. Let me just drill this from half field, from center field. Let me just put it up. But I do believe that's all the sports that we have to cover for at least this episode. We always have a recurring segment for those who are familiar of at the end of the episode, we take whatever episode number it is and take the best baseball player who wears that number or ever wore it. Not baseball players, but different sports and different numbers. So this is episode 26. So you guys feel free to pick your sports. I wouldn't mind taking baseball.
I feel like we already did 26.
Like 20.
We might have.
We have. Corey, you and me did because
correct.
We had that one show with where PJ left a little early.
Correct. And so now we need PJ to fill in for the best Nick of all time to wear 26.
Right. Oh, brother. Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right, we're good. I'll do 26.
All right. And so you'll do 26 for a Nick, and then also 27. I'll take baseball on this one.
Interestingly enough, a player has never worn the number 27 for the New York Knicks.
Really? So you'll have to take an actual player.
Oh, I got one. Give me football.
All right, you can take football. Gerald, you want the basketball?
Apparently, sure.
All right, PJ, to make up for last episodes when we ran through 2-6, give us your Nick.
Shannon Brown.
Anything remarkable about Shannon Brown, or just
one of our starting guards in the worst season we've ever had? So salute to Shannon Brown for getting us that Porzingis pick, which we turned into the cap space for Julius Randle. Which led us to this moment.
Pelicans legend.
That's right.
All right. For number 27 for the MLB, there have been a lot of very good players that have worn 27. I think Todd Helton might have worn it. Vladimir Guerrero did, but I'm giving the edge right here. Michael Trout from Delaware, or no, New Jersey. He's from New Jersey. Went 26th or so in the MLB draft. Was the only person to show up to the in-person draft aired on MLB Network and got taken late first round, which means that a lot of teams passed over him. So sorry to all the teams that passed over him, but you missed out on the best player that we may ever see, and definitely the best player of this generation. So very fortunate in the last 3 episodes to have named Barry Bonds at 25 and now Mike Trout at 27.
Yeah. And for the NBA, I'm going to do a double. The first one's going to be
Rudy Gobert.
Hall of Famer Jack Twyman, who wore number 27 for half of his time while he was with the Cincinnati Royals, including 3 of his 6 All-Star bids and his personal peak in the 1959-1960 season, where he posted a 31-9-4 line and placed 6th for MVP behind Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Bob Pettit, Bob Cousy, and Elgin Baylor.
Elgin Baylor, a legend.
So
you're forgetting the true number 27 GOAT.
Yeah, the best defensive player of absolutely all time.
Microphone man himself.
The 2-time All-NBA selection, 2-time reigning defensive player of the year.
Rudy Gobert!
Rudy Gobert.
Hold on, for real, though, please tell me that there is a number 27 that is better than him.
You said what?
Tell me that there is another number 27 in the NBA who is better than Rudy Gobert. And do not let me know that this is the second best number 27 we've ever had.
Let me see.
Because if Rudy Gobert is really the second best, I'm going to have a heart attack, bro. The man who single-handedly started this pandemic.
Jordan Crawford.
I'll take him.
Zaza
Pachulia. Zaza Pachulia, the GOAT.
Zaza Pachulia.
One of my least favorite NBA players of all time.
Kevin Stakem.
Steakums. All right, I guess we'll take
Marvin Barnes, Casey Jones.
Casey Jones is a baller, certified. Coached the coached the Celtics.
Bob Verga.
Nah. All right, we got Rudy Gobert then.
And Joe Caldwell.
Interesting
and John
line.
Johnson. And that's all I'm trying, man. I am trying so hard.
That's all we got.
But just end it. Yeah, so I guess Rudy Gobert.
No. Can't believe we've reached this point.
Where Rudy Gobert is the best player at a number. And it's only going to get worse from here because nobody wears numbers like 82. So if we keep on going with this, it's going to be a problem. All right.
You're going to have to start choosing MLS players at some point. But okay. Also, this is
I also
for our
missed
own enjoyment.
number 26. I might have said it last time, but shout out Saquon Barkley.
For sure.
Oh,
For
yeah.
real,
No, you did say that.
Yeah, too bad that he has to play at MetLife.
Right.
I wish the Colts would have taken him.
Add him to the list of people who would have done better anywhere else.
Reggie Bush. First of all, Reggie Bush deserves that Heisman back.
Oh, also, PJ, guess who this is?
Dick
Is
Pound.
it Dick Pound?
It's Dick Pound.
Shout out.
I didn't expect him to look any different. This is fantastic.
Dude, he looks like his name should be Richard Quid. For real, for real. Looks
My
like
AirPods just made the dying noise.
Do you know where he's from?
England?
No,
South
he's
Africa?
from Canada.
Oh.
That's the only saving grace Canada has for it. Dick Pound.
All right, PJ, what do you got for 2-7?
All right, well, you know how I do my teams, and then, whatever. Football, I'm different. Basketball is strictly Knicks plays. But
Right.
football, I give my team, and then, actual. So, get mine out of the way. Best player to wear 27, I'm going to go Brandon Jacobs. Head of Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yup.
The GOAT. 2-time Super Bowl champ.
maybe the
Ran over
23rd
Charles
best,
Woodson in the NFC Championship game.
maybe like the 52nd best running back of all time, but he the GOAT.
He's the Giants' all-time leading in rushing touchdowns.
I want to actually check something real quick. You can keep going on this, but I want to look up on Hall of Fame Monitor how top he is.
But Brandon Jacobs is a dog.
Brandon
Jacobs was the GOAT.
He
I
put
was
nine-
there at his
9 seasons
return
in.
game because after we won the Super Bowl in 2000.
Sorry,
11,
Brandon Jacobs is ranked by Hall of Fame Monitor, Pro Football Reference, to be the 190th best running back of all time.
I mean, there's been a couple running backs. I look. He did what he needed for us, and that's all I care about.
He wants to come back as playing defensive end.
Corey,
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I just saw this. This is not hyperbole. The Gulf of Mexico is on fire.
BP again?
There was a gas leak, and this time it caught fire, and they can't seem to put it out.
Bro, just put water on it.
It's a gas fire. It's
And-
not gonna go out. It floats
The
on top of
fuck?
the damn
That's
water.
how you put a fire out. You put water on it. Or just get a really big blanket.
I'm not. Hold on. I'm gonna pull it up to show you the damn video, because it looks like a scene out of the Godzilla movie.
This can't be good.
By the way, I still haven't watched that movie.
Though Godzilla vs. Kong,
Yeah, I haven't.
gotta check it out.
I was firmly on Team Kong.
Well, you were firmly a team idiot.
Thank you. I was Team Zilla from the jump.
Yep. Bro, you have a radioactive lizard who can shoot hyper beams and has impenetrable skin versus just a really big monkey. What do you think is going to happen, bro? That's bringing a Nerf gun to a machine gun fight. Yeah, you're going to hit him, but then, like, what next? What's your plan of attack?
Bro.
All right, here, hold on. Let me see. I'm not gonna share any audio.
Bro, if we get copyright
No. You know what? I'm not gonna show you. I'll send
Yeah.
it to
No.
you guys independent. I just remembered that. I'm like, nah, we can't.
for
we can't.
watching the Gulf of Mexico catch on fire.
But anyway, we'll check it out on our own time, and I advise you all out there to do the same. So, PJ, you have another 27. Or do
Oh
you
yeah,
just-
Steve Atwater, all-time great safety. I mean, he's the Hall of Famer, right? He's got to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Good.
good. Ain't no Brandon Jacobs, but he's good, solid. All I'm saying is, if Brandon Jacobs played safety,
All I'm saying is Atwater is not the 190th best running back.
that's what I'm saying.
So it's a long road for him to get there. Well, anyway, that has been a very good, productive episode of the We Talk Sports podcast.
It started with some absolute bullshit, but
Started with you, my friend.
That was
Don't put this on to us. You're the racist. It's
shame,
really
shame.
However,
All right. Well, with that being said,
I have been Corey,
PJ,
and I've been racist.
and we will catch you next time, hopefully with more mitigated speech from Gerald.
more sports, less Gerald.
Let's Gerald. Yeah. Gerald has
Well, next
officially
time-
been canceled.
Listen, next time we talk, is probably either gonna be right before the Olympics or during the Olympics. So
Next
I'm not
time,
opposed to running. Listen,
There won't be no next time. Not with the way that you're going, Gerald.
I'm not
Gonna get us
opposed to
banned
running.
for hate speech.
I'm not opposed to running. I planned on watching the opening ceremony twice. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm not
that-
opposed to doing a live stream reaction to the opening ceremony.
Yeah.
I really,
What day is the opening ceremony?
it's on a Friday.
Oh, that would be so fun. Just
Yeah.
get
Hey,
hammered
hey,
and watch the
hey,
opening
hey,
ceremony.
Hey, we can meet in person.
What
Bro,
day is it? Because I'm going
That's
to
right.
Nashville from
Hold
the
on.
25th to the 29th?
Well,
Something like that?
Either way,
I'll be back
It's Friday the 23rd.
Friday the 23rd. Yeah, let's do it, bro.
bird up,
All right.
making it
So
I'll
happen.
be there.
would this be PJ's household or Corey's household?
We can figure it out.
Yeah.
We can figure out the nuance.
Also,
All right.
Gerald,
Okay.
you're coming to the crawl.
I saw that.
You're there.
You're coming right there.
I will have to Consider it.
Yep. We're making Gerald pub crawl. Yes. All right. Well, all that being said, I wish you all a very good weekend and enjoy your holiday, 4th of July. So
try not to blow your hand up.
yeah, shout out former New York Giant.
Down with JPP.
New York football giant blowing his hand off and another New York football giant shooting himself in the leg. These men really don't miss. But
it's not the field turf that gets you, it's themselves.
It's the idiocy of it. Anyway, I hope y'all take care. Have a good one,
everybody.